too much blow, and you're like, I should stop everything. Yep. Nice.
Oh no. Way too much blow. Tor was telling me about. He's like.
Mics are on.
Are they?
Yeah.
Is this recording?
Yep.
What?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Quick Ass Comedy Show. I'm your host, Nick McQuick. As always, I'm joined in the studio by people. Yeah. Welcome back. Part 2.
I'm Bill.
You're Bill. You're William Hannagan.
Billiam.
That's
Billy Bags.
you go by Will.
Yeah.
You shortened it down. Have you considered going with anything else?
I was thinking for a while a stage name of like Will Foster, but then I just thought like, why?
Why?
You trying to get that sweet Foster's Australian beer money?
Yeah, I just yeah, that sweet shit beer. Yeah, I don't know. I was going to, but then I was like, it's too much effort. It's too much work, and no one cares. Like no one cares that my name.
I mean, it's just your middle name there.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Will Hannagan. I don't like William Hannagan. I like Will Hannagan, and but a lot of my friends call me Billy. That's been
Billy.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's been young Billy.
Sounds like you should be wearing a cowboy hat.
I should be wearing I have cowboy boots here.
Yeah, I saw at the door there.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking off the boots at the door and not just trouncing in a whole bunch of snow. How you doing, Alex?
Well, I brought in a bunch of snow.
Yeah, thanks for
And I was like wiping my shoes off. I'm like, dude, I feel bad. Like they're squeaking around. You're like, oh, there's a shoe rack at the front. I was like, that makes sense.
You drunk.
Yeah.
You drunk. The nice thing about quitting drinking is that you get to judge everyone else.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to get back to, a place where I can start judging people again.
That's a good place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like.
Nice stare down your nose at them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a drunk guy on White Ave tell me I shouldn't be drinking Coke Zero. He's like, that's bad for you. I'm like, you are wasted. I'm like, what did you drink? Fucking rubbing alcohol? Like he just was one of those homeless people on the street. And
nice.
Yeah, he was like,
that's interesting. I don't think a homeless man has ever given me life advice.
Yeah?
That's a bold.
Really? Do I look like I need it? Is that what's wrong?
This is a bold homeless guy.
Yeah.
If you're homeless and you're walking around like slanging advice, he's like, can I have some change? Also, yeah, you should
fix your life.
Yeah. I bet there was a homeless guy
going to the gym
this week. There's this new 24-hour gym that I go to when I'm coming down off crack.
Really good shower to sleep in.
Yeah. Yeah, and one guy who said he was like, yeah, if I could just get a room full of people and talk to them, I know I could change their lives. And I was like looking at his shoes and like his whole everything about him, and I was like, start with your own. I think.
Yeah.
No, just send them to the comic strip on a Tuesday night. We'll put anybody up.
Yeah, we've got a room full of people for you.
I don't like Gary Vaynerchuk.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The guy who tells everyone to shut up and stop complaining and to like live your life and.
Oh, like the motivational speaker guy?
Yeah, I don't.
Gary V. He's like a millionaire or something. He's a Twitter, Instagram guy.
Is that the dude with his how many Lamborghinis he has in his Lamborghini account?
No, but that's another guy. That is another
that guy.
YouTube guy.
Pretty good dude, actually.
That guy seems alright.
Gary V has like a really small face.
Yeah.
And he looks very old country, like Middle Eastern European.
Yeah, I don't like
Middle Eastern European. All right,
old
country, Middle Eastern European.
The Middle East of Europe.
Yeah, he's got a round face.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's a weird dude. But, yeah, he just is like, go out there and chase your dreams and live your life. Stop complaining. That's because you're not doing it. And
I don't like any of that.
I'm like, there have been some times like where it's like, stop complaining. It's like, man, I wish I had like a house that I lived in. It would be nice not to be sleeping at.
I wasn't an amputee. Oh, would that ever be nice to have hands?
Quit complaining.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
Yeah.
This is all your own fault.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't start taking responsibility for your own actions, who's gonna do it for you?
I don't know. Motivational speakers are.
They can all suck it. Every single one of them.
They're really bad comedians.
There was a guy. Yeah, they're shit. There was a guy coming through Edmonton. I don't know if everyone else liked him or what, but on the point of our last podcast, he was like, came through and basically told everyone to start wearing condoms.
Why? Like all the time?
Yeah, that was like his
Just
whole
like-
thing. Like he did like comedy shows and he would do like,
Oh, yeah, he looked like a snowboarder.
yeah.
It was something about like save a breast or something.
No, it's dick
Dick doctor.
dick loss prevention.
Dick loss. Yeah, he gave me his card, and I didn't know he was a comedian or anything because I got off stage, and he walked up to me. He's like, "You're funny, man." He handed me this thing, and it's a card that says Dick Loss Prevention, and it just shows a whole bunch of naked chicks on it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I'm done doing porn, man. I don't know what you want. But those years are behind me.
Yeah, it was so weird. And he has like this book on like, and his closer is not funny, but I saw him a couple times. He'd always close on like, all right, so there's 3 reasons why you should wear condoms. Or 3 reasons why people say they don't wear condoms. 1, it kills the mood. And he's like, sex is like an interbody experience that goes through your soul and takes you back through the history of your humanity and 2 humans connecting on a level that is incomprehensible just at a physical level. So
Has
if
this
you
guy
think
ever had sex?
putting a piece of rubber on is going to ruin that for you, you're having bad sex. Reason number 2. And like, the third reason was like, some guys say that it feels better. If you're really going to risk like your dick coming off or fucking getting AIDS or whatever because it feels better, then you should take a look in the mirror. I was like, I don't know, I just don't fuck dirty bitches. Like, that's...
Take a look in the mirror while you're fucking?
I do that a lot. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. You pump the gun show and everything.
Look at my back muscles. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I was talking to Charles. Charles was
Charles Haycock, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about dating websites, and I was like, I'm gonna start one, and it's gonna be called "Let's Just Go Raw." It's just like an upfront approach to modern dating of like, look,
Yeah.
I don't want to wear this anymore. And when I first started comedy, some guy told me, a friend, he was like, the only advice I can give you is wear a condom and keep your receipts. And I've taken one of those.
You're bad at receipts, eh?
Oof, terrible.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, I just don't get like motivational speaking is all like, if you go to a seminar, if you've paid money to go to a seminar to watch someone speak, guess what? Your life is never gonna go well. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't have the self-motivation to go fucking start something, like
Yeah,
someone
most of what
else
they
telling
say
you,
is what you already know.
yeah. Well, and not even that. It's just shit that you're not going to do if you're the kind of person who goes to see a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? The kind of person who goes to see a motivational speaker isn't someone who can wake up at 7 a.m. and make sure that they make their bed before they go out and brush your teeth and eat breakfast and do all that shit. It's like, no, that's not the kind of person who goes to a motivational speaker.
Like, old Nick's doing pretty good, but I sleep in. Like, I work at night, and people are like, there's all these podcasts about, like, entrepreneurs and businessmen, and they're like, you have to have the drive to get up at 5 a.m. every day. I'm like, no. I'll work till 5 a.m. and go to sleep, thank you. I'm like,
Be productive while you're awake. That's the fucking key.
yeah.
I saw this Navy SEAL was yelling about how important it was to get up at 4 a.m. I was watching it with my friend Mark, and we're like all stoned out watching this guy, and he's like, if you wake up at 4 a.m., you're gonna have a little bit of time to yourself. And then me and Mark just started laughing, like, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of time to yourself.
I have like 6 hours.
Not if
before.
everybody wakes up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, and then he's like, and by the time you get to the afternoon, you're not gonna be sleepy. You're gonna be going hard. You're not gonna be asking, oh, where's the cookies? You're gonna be asking, where's the beef jerky? Where's beef jerky come into this Navy SEAL?
That guy's getting too much sodium.
Yeah, I just want to ask that guy, like, hey, and also, how do you feel about gay people? Hate them. Yeah.
I want to hear him explain why beef jerky is more productive than cookies.
Strengthens your teeth.
Yeah.
You know,
got a
dried
tough
out
bite.
meat.
Yeah.
Tough bite. That's what he's going for.
Do you hate feeling happy and comfortable? Then chew beef jerky.
No, I don't know. I can't figure out the motivational speakers. It's like, just fucking do it for yourself. Like, Alex, you wanted a podcast. What'd you do?
I started a podcast.
Yeah, you just started you did it.
Yeah. I wanted to lose weight, so I just started going to the gym. I wanted to do comedy, so I just started doing comedy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. No one told me to do any of it. I didn't have to wake up at fucking 5 a.m. I just started doing shit.
Yeah.
Now look at me. I'm opening for Drew Bain at the Naughty Show.
Yeah. Yeah. Now look at you. You're just sobering up.
Yeah, you guys are getting sober at 6 p.m. This guy.
To be fair, though, I mean, you were watching football.
That was.
You were. What happened in football?
Guy caught the ball.
Yeah, well,
Couple
my
guys.
my favorite team is on bye week this week, so the Panthers didn't play. Morning games, KC went to overtime with the New York Giants, which was that was bullshit. I don't know what Andy Reid is doing, that fat red tomato fuck. needs to start learning how to coach a goddamn football team because he's not in
Yeah.
college anymore.
Yeah,
all right,
fucking Andy Reid.
Get your shit together. If you took the talent on the KC Chiefs and put them in Sean Payton's fucking system, Alvin Kamara can't hold a fucking candle to Kareem Hunt, and
Yeah.
Andy Reid can lick my butt cheek. Not even my
Kareem.
butthole. I don't want him that near the inside of me.
Andy,
Okay.
Kareem.
Like, would you wipe first?
No,
Are you
no.
just saying names?
Yeah, I agree. That's so funny. Some guy could like know, like if you just said a bunch of names, if you were like John Bonham, I'd be like, yeah, he plays football.
I
Doesn't
know,
he?
like, that's the thing is you always got to know enough to bullshit your way through. So I'd just
Yeah.
be like, yeah, if you were to put that talent with like Bill Belichick there, you'd be fucking on fire.
Yeah,
See, I know a name and it's relevant to what he said.
yeah.
Yeah.
See?
That's about it.
He was right there too. He didn't.
Yeah.
It's good.
And I'm like, that's a coach. I know that one.
He's a good coach.
I don't need to know other ones.
Yeah.
As long as I know one. Because
It's
I know
all-
he's talking about coaches, so I have one card to throw out, and I'm like, I was in the conversation.
I need it.
I think it's funny when guys are talking about sports and then there's one guy who doesn't watch sports and needs to make it known that he doesn't watch sports. And then so when all the guys are talking about sports, he's like, oh, are you talking about sportsing right now? And everyone just looks at him and they're like, yeah, eat your wings. Just eat your wings and sit there. Be quiet.
Sit there quietly in the corner.
It's like when people talk about comic books. I actually got in a really big argument with Kevin Light like 2-3 years ago because he was like, so I was reading a comic book and I was like, no, you weren't. You were looking at one. And he was like, no, you read graphic novels. And I was like, no, you
No,
don't.
you
Oh,
look
don't
at
say
comics.
graphic novel. That's so
Uh,
pretentious.
Yeah, and then so we had this. He's like, "There's words on the page." I'm like, "There's more pictures on the page than there are words." And then we got into this huge thing, and I
Like,
still think
does a kid read a picture book?
no.
Like a pop-up book? Do you read a pop-up book?
I usually just flip through it.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that you guys would get more decisive on that.
Yeah.
I'll flip through comics online every so often, but yeah, I'm not gonna be like, there's art to these.
I didn't realize like the whole culture and like I got one when I was in Jasper when I was a kid. I got a Spider-Man comic and the whole book was about it was after his death being told, narrated by a woman that he saved when she was much younger. She's an old woman now. And she's blogging about him, and like it goes through this whole story of blah, 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 he's dead now or whatever. And it like I just saw Spider-Man as like Spider-Man running through buildings, jumping off
Yeah,
stuff.
like the TV shows
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you were a kid,
yeah.
like the
And-
cartoons.
And then I found I'm like, he dies? He dies? And it just that was the only comic book I ever read.
yeah, it's so much to get involved in with like, I hate anything that's just like so blatantly fake and they try and make you care about it.
Like the Patriots, eh? Like the Patriots, huh? Those fuckers.
Yeah.
No, like that's what I don't get when dudes like talk shit about sports, like fucking sports, like, oh yeah, you gotta go out there and like prove how macho you are. What I'm like, dude, you read comic books, like those are fake. I'm like, at least those are real people doing shit. Like
See,
there's
for me, like,
injury and risk.
Fantasy football for me is like pretty similar because you're like, I built this team and my team is fighting your team, and I'm like, that's not actually a team.
No, but it's
you just,
real people though.
you just
Like it's
pick
real people. There's
things.
risk of injury. Like there's shit that
Yeah.
happens. Like someone doesn't just decide what happens. It's like people actually have to work for it.
Yeah, but you don't even get dice
Yeah,
in
but
yours.
you don't have to work for it.
Yeah.
No. But you have to make decisions like based on.
Just like somebody would
Real
play in
life
Halo,
events.
right?
Yeah.
Just like they got to make
No, if
decisions.
you play Halo, that's fine. But dudes who are like, oh yeah, it's basically like fucking Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, no, Dungeons and Dragons, you roll
Oh.
dice and it's like
Yeah, Dungeons and
chance.
Dragons
It's
is probably
totally
way
like
more
Dungeons and
complicated.
Dragons. Fantasy football is exactly the same.
How? What?
Because if anyone's playing it, their girlfriend's sad.
No, because dudes who play fantasy football have
No,
girlfriends.
they don't. No way.
Eh,
No,
understand.
they
I
don't.
don't
I don't know.
care.
I get it. It's a good job, you know.
Like, here's the
But-
thing: it's something to put your energy and time into, and
is
like
sad.
you're gonna meet other
Well,
people with
fantasy
similar
also,
interests.
Fantasy football takes like 11 minutes.
Yeah, but then you're always checking and you're always looking. You're like, oh, my fantasy guy, he just scored a thing, and now my team is.
You just get live updates. You don't
Yeah.
have to be constantly checking.
Well, I know, but when someone gets an update,
Yeah.
and they're like, my fantasy football guy just scored a point.
That
I'm
happened
like,
earlier.
Yeah, your guy
Yeah,
scored a
I know.
point right before we started recording.
Yeah.
good job.
It's
You
like
know.
it like. Could you imagine doing it all before smartphones and computers?
Oh
Playing
no,
fantasy
that's
football?
so hard and like that.
Like,
I wouldn't do it.
Everybody would have graph paper.
Yeah.
And like you'd have to
you
you'd have to
like
show
you
your
have
work.
A big board and like I wouldn't even know who's who because the nice thing about having it on like your mobile phone once you get into like the late rounds of the draft, it's a bunch of
Mobile
no-name
phone.
guys. Yeah, your mobile
Thanks, Grandpa.
your mobile phone.
Your mobile phone, you know, your flippy.
You
It's
like
called phones now.
get into the late round of the draft And like it's a bunch of no-name guys, so you have like rankings that like professionals went through and did, and you're like, all right, this guy seems like the next best. But like, I can't imagine having to do all that research myself.
I played fantasy hockey once, and I was picking my team. I didn't know anybody who was playing, and my friend Mark didn't either. And when it came around to him to pick, he was like not paying attention. He's like, Sergei Samsonov. And I was like, he hasn't played for like years.
Mark Messier.
And then so I was sitting beside my buddy who knew a lot about it, Liam Gotel.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm like, I don't know who to pick next. He's like, so he's going through all the defensemen and he's like, and I could tell like which guys he wanted to pick. But he wanted to get me a good one. Yeah. So I just like made a mental note, and then I picked the one that he was like, oh no, I'm gonna keep that for me. And then he went down, and then I just picked that one, and he like folded up all his stuff and put it into a briefcase. Was very upset.
That's so funny. What an idiot. Oh, Nick left. That was interesting. Just keep podcasting.
We're gonna keep podcasting.
Oh, nice. We're getting pizza. That's exciting.
Yeah, pull your pants down, Al.
That's not what podcasting is.
That's what pizza's for.
That's what pizza's for.
Rubbing, not rubbing.
What? I don't know. I just don't like. It's so weird to me that anything like comic books, and back to my original point, that you need to care so much about this thing that just is so obviously not real. Like Game of Thrones and Star Wars.
Have you watched Game of Thrones?
No.
Well, I get it, right? I watched 4 seasons of it, and then one of the characters they killed. It broke my heart, and then I realized like they're just gonna do this. They're just gonna build up characters until you love them, kill them.
But why do you love the character? Like, what part of you? I don't. Maybe I'm just like emotionally fucked. But,
You just get invested in the story. That's all.
I just can't. I can't. As soon as like some shit happens, that I'm like, oh, that's obviously fake. Like if there's a warlock or a dragon or like any shit that I'm like, oh, that's not a real life thing.
But they do it very quietly in that. Like it's not like Lord of the Rings where they're like these are elves.
Oh,
they're
okay,
like,
yeah.
It's all people, and then you get this sense that magic is happening in the background, and that like it's all real life stuff. And then once you're hooked on the politics of the universe, then they start introducing things like there's rumors of dragons, and then
Okay, see, before it got huge.
Yeah.
I think I already knew that there was dragons in it, and so when people were like watch, I'm like, nah, there's dragons.
Yeah.
I'm not watching it.
You're a contrarian though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What part of that? Why are you a contrarian?
I don't know. It's boring to be normal. Being normal is so lame. Like, have you ever just sat in a conversation where everyone agreed with each other?
Yeah.
It's so boring.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the fucking worst. Like, you just sit there. Like,
yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
This does suck.
I like disagreeing with people.
Yeah.
But at the same
and
time.
like sometimes like I don't even like you in the last podcast. I don't actually disagree with you. I just want to see you defend. I want to make you defend your point.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that. I like what you put on Facebook about Louis C.K.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And in my opinion, like all those things, like I have an opinion. I'm not gonna voice any of it because it doesn't matter. I don't hold any weight, and I get really annoyed with watching people argue back and forth on Facebook. I blocked so many people just to not see them.
That's hilarious.
This? Oh my god, Nick.
This is food.
Yeah, that one was part real and part.
Hey guys, Nick McQuick here. We've got to take a little break with the podcast so they can get to their pizza party. But I wanted to let you guys know about some of my upcoming dates. If you are in and around the Edmonton area for December, I'm going to be doing the comic strip of West Ed, December 5th. I've got Arcadia, which is a vegan wine bar, which is confusing, December 7th. Then I'm at the Empress Ale House, December 10th. December 13th, I'm at El Cortez, which is a Mexican taco bar. December 15th and 16th, you can catch me at Yuck Yucks. Tickets are going really fast for that one. And December 21st, I am also at Yuck Yucks. Anyway, guys, if you want more details on upcoming shows, check out facebook.com/NickMcQuick. And if you just want to hear me talk more, I have a fitness and wellness podcast, Strength and Length. You can check out the video of that at facebook.com/Strength and Length, or you can find it on other podcast distributors. But now, guys, let's get back to William Hannagan and Alex Fortin.
Your like ideal crowd is like pretty similar to mine, I think. In like
25-year-old college people.
Yeah. Well, no, just like having fun, like. More than being like deadly attentive, it's like I want you to be fucking having fun. Like I want this to be a party.
That's the goal of comedy, is for them to have fun.
But like I was doing a show, and we were doing the early show and the late show, and we finished both shows, and the other guys were like, man, that first show, like, they were rowdy. Like, they were fun, but, like, they were talkative and shit. And I was like, yeah, they were, like, easily the better show. And the other guys were like, what? No. I was like, yeah. I was like, they were laughing harder at shit. Like, you could roll with shit, and they would, like, run with it. Like, the other show was very, like, attentive, and they'd laugh where they were supposed to laugh and then go back to, like, paying attention quietly. And I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah,
I want
that's
you guys
bad.
to be having fun. Like, let's go.
Yeah, I want whenever something.
Hey, first rule of podcast: fill your fucking stupid mouth with as much fucking pizza as you can, and then talk.
That's what I think.
Yeah, mumble it up. Oh yeah, also joining us from the break now is Ryan Shorts.
Is this enough food?
Oh, Ryan! God damn it!
So, are you that way as well? Because,
I like an audience that I can like almost fight with. That you can
Yeah.
kind of spar with.
yeah.
Like those are good. When you can like, if I can just do crowd work for like a half hour,
Not even,
that's fun.
I don't even care about crowd work, but it's just like, you don't, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be so many comedians that are like mad at me, like, don't fucking encourage that shit. But like,
Don't encourage heckling.
yeah, but I've had some like really fun nights, like in Grand Prairie and shit, where guys will heckle, but it's not like heckling. They just like have like a question or like an idea, and like they're just like, I want to share it.
And you know what? I have to admit they're dumb people. They're
It's
not
all-
smart people because they don't have a filter of like, hold on, like you're in a room full of people and you're about to yell. They're just like da da da.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like making fun of that. I like when they're happy and stuff. And I've had a line. Sometimes I'll get in a pause. I'll get heckled with a punchline
Yeah.
from earlier on.
Yeah, that happened to me.
And then I'll repeat it, and I'll laugh, and I'll be like, it's so weird, because it's like, he heckled, he's interrupting the show, but fuck, he's also listening.
Yeah, he's
so,
paying a lot of attention.
Yeah,
like, he
yeah.
paid so much attention, he's calling back to my jokes. Like, fuck.
Sometimes in a bar show, it's you just want somebody paying attention. Like I would rather be heckled than ignored.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
worst.
I like bar shows when they start paying attention. It's okay if they start paying attention, then get involved later. You know what I mean? That's a nice feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh god, poor.
At the break, I can't remember what we were talking about. It was you fighting somebody in a snowsuit, or you getting your butt kicked in a fight, or something. What was
Oh yeah,
it?
we were talking about how like someone ran into Alex on the snow hill.
Yeah, he got
On,
ran
this,
over.
on the old snow hill.
On the
On the
old
old-
snow
you know,
hill.
that hill of snow.
On the
I
old
was on the
boggin.
mountains. I was snowboarding on the mountains.
Oh, okay, a big hill.
And
Big crusty hill. Good for you.
dude ran into me.
So somebody ran you over.
Yeah.
I was just saying that it'd be hard to fight someone in a snowsuit. Oh, and then I said my dad punched a kid out in the arena. And
in the arena.
What reminded me of that is the guy was swearing, and this is the funny thing. I hope my dad doesn't use the internet; he won't hear this. But so for like 12 years, my dad said that he didn't drink. Like, you never saw him drink or anything like that. And then we found out recently that he drinks. He definitely
He
drinks.
doesn't drink. You're like, then,
You found out he's never been
he's
sober.
like, I don't drink. You're like, then how are you always drunk?
He's like, exactly. Puts an IV in.
he's got a blow on his
butt
truck
chugging.
to start it.
Fucking blow start, man. And then so, anyways,
So Hannigan's dad's butt chugging, and this kid's swearing at the
all
arena.
these stories of him being really heroic when I was a kid. Like, now that I've found out that he's been drinking, I'm like, oh, that sounds like booze, you know, thinking, because so I heard this story and I thought he was sober, and then now so when I tell it, think of like, this is now like a guy who's drinking for sure, because he's watching his nephew's hockey game, and the guys behind him are chewing tobacco, yelling and swearing, and
he's a nice, sober gentleman.
sitting in front of
Not
him
gonna
with
stand for that.
my aunt, and he keeps looking over at him, and he asks him to be quiet a couple times, and then they go, oh, fuck off, and then so he goes up, and he's like, if you say one more swear, I'm gonna punch you in the face. And the guy goes to say fuck you, and so my dad punched him in the face, and he punched him like 8 or 9 times.
Wow.
And then went and sat down, and then people started booing him, and they were like, you gotta leave, and he was like, whatever. So he started leaving, and this kid's like bleeding all over the bleachers, and so he walks down this like little set of stairs to get him into like the main concession area, and he hears like bum 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 bum, like some guy running after him. Turns around, the guy's like jumping in the air at him, so he just steps to one side. The guy falls on his face. My dad gets on top of him and just starts feeding him. And then at no point did he ask, hey, are you 18? Like, I don't know how old this kid was. Let's just. So, anyways, he dragged him into the lobby, and then
Are you 18?
the kid was holding his arm from hitting him, and he was trying to get his hand. He said he was trying to get his hand, and he's like, I don't know. Have you ever tried to take off a snow jacket? It's really tough, especially when you're beating the shit out of someone. And so I guess he got it out, and then the kid's dad showed up, which is another, like, are you sure you're 18 kind of thing. And the dad.
When a girl's dad comes to pick her up, you're like, are you sure you're 18?
Yeah. So my dad. My
So now
dad.
he's fighting in his weight class because
Yeah,
his dad showed up.
The dad showed up, and my dad was just.
He's younger than your dad.
He's got to wait for the grandpa to
His
show up.
dad's like 15. He's just beating a toddler. So he lets go of this guy, and then
Sorry, I just got that in.
Punching a baby.
so anyways,
Just making noises, not actually swears.
so he tells
Shut that baby up. Shut that baby up.
the baby keeps swearing. It's like, you're Sean, you're drunk. You're drunk, Sean. So
Guys,
now that baby's cursing, I swear. No, he's in a
Listen.
stroller. He doesn't have any neck muscles. He's like, anyways, he's punching out this kid who's probably 15. And my dad's 38. He's been working his whole life. His shoulders are massive. This kid's bleeding everywhere. Anyway, so he just stares at the dad, and I guess the dad like just went and helped his son, and then my dad left. Like the dad was like, I'm
And your
gonna.
dad's there half in a snowsuit.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess my dad was like, "You want some too?" Yeah. And the guy,
That's
the
such
dad,
a drunk line.
Yeah, I know.
What are you looking at?
Yeah.
You want some too?
You want the same thing your kid got? Like, what the fuck? So, anyways, he pummeled this kid, and then went outside, and like all these people are yelling at him to leave, and he tells this story like he's the hero in it. And I guess the cop was pulling into the arena, and he went up and he was like, "Are you looking for the guy? You're here for a fight?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, I am." He's like, "Well, I'm the guy who punched out that guy." And then he just told him the whole story, and the guy was like, "All right," and like gave him his address, and then walked home. Here's the thing.
And walked home, and you're like, yeah, he was probably sober. That's why he walked.
I thought he couldn't drive because someone else drove him there, and then I realized like my aunt who he was with can't legally drive, so he was definitely fucking hammered, and just never brought that story up, like, or never brought the drunk part up. So that's and now he's like, every time he goes in the States, they're like, there was an altercation.
There was an
In a rink. Like, what a Canadian Canadian thing to get stopped for. So you got in a fist fight in a rink with a 15-year-old?
Why, technically.
Had a snow jacket on. Probably fluffing the head.
Yeah. Big poopy 15.
When did you get beat up by a 19-year-old girl?
Yeah. Let's hear more.
Okay, so, all right, I'm at West.
First, how old are you?
I'm 20.
At
So
this-
you
at this
both
time
are
or
over
right now?
18 then for this fight.
Yeah, so we're both over 18. So this is a consensual. You could film this if you wanted to.
World star.
Yeah. So I come out of the comic strip and sitting on one of those benches in the that over part that's like a parkade kind of area right by Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. I'm talking with Stephen Mikowski and Sasha Supernolt about. And here's a funny little a side note, not a funny side note. Stefan is Lily Mikowski now. And that'll probably come up a little later.
Okay.
So
you got beat up by Stefan?
Yeah. I got beat up by a guy. They transition. You're like, oh, now I got to tell him this is a girl.
Yeah, what if you get beat up by a dude and then he transitions? You're like, guess I got beat up by a girl.
Yeah, look, he's a lot happier now. Or she's a lot happier now. So anyways, bombed. All right. Anyways, so this drunk chick walks by with a group of her friends. She's got a birthday pin on. And she's like, what is this, a fucking job interview? Because I'm sitting there with Stefan. And I was like, that's kind of funny, but it also made me uncomfortable. So she goes into Hudson's. And I keep talking to Stefan. We're talking about crowd work. And about how I don't know how to do it. But what I've seen people do is build someone up a little bit, then cut them down. And build them up and cut them down. And never do it too much that where they become enraged or whatever. So... then she comes back out, starts having a cigarette, just with us, and just starts talking about how she got kicked out. And so now I'm like, it's rude to interrupt a conversation. So what I started doing is slightly making fun of her. Right? She's like, I've been to the bar like 50 times since I turned 18. I've been to the bar like 50 times since I've been 18. They should know me by now. And I was like, oh, well, you should have told them that. Then they would have been like, oh, you're definitely 19. And so then she like kind of it was just like little remarks like that I was making that was making Sasha and Stefan laugh. And she thought she was crushing with her story because I would say them and it would kind of go over her head, and then she'd keep talking. So and then she just became the joke, right? So she thinks her story's like just doing so great, and she's smoking a cigarette, and then she looks around, she goes, "Okay, we're all white here." Anyways, and says the N-word.
Oh no.
This, and I'm not gonna say it. She's like, this Negro bitch, talking about the manager who kicked her out, and I was like, whoa. I was like, look, like it was really rude of you to come up and interrupt our we were having a conversation before you came in. That's just too far. Can you please finish your cigarette somewhere else? And she was just like, I was making a joke. And I was like, nah, we're comics. That wasn't a joke. That was a statement. You made a statement. There's no funny part. There's no setup or punchline. You just said that. And then so she's like, what's a comic? What's a comic? And I've already asked her a couple times to leave. So I was just like, okay, well, like my thing is like if someone won't do something politely, I'm just gonna make the situation so much worse. So she's like, what's a comic? And I'm like, oh my God, go to school. And I said, go read a book. And she was like, fuck you, I go to university. And I was like, let me guess, arts? And just boom, explosion of energy. She's like, no, I'm not in fucking arts. And then I thought there was a compliment. I was like, all right, general sciences. And she's like, no, I'm not in general sciences. And I was like, and she goes, I'm in business management. And I was like, well, that makes sense why you're like this. And she explodes again, and I'm standing I said that as I was standing up. Boom! 2 hands me in the chest, throws me back. She's a big 19. Right? She's a big 19. She was packing like some real strong palm power.
Like what? 19 going on 180?
She was like,
at least she's like, she's bulking right now.
she's been bulking since she was 13.
Yeah, she's a prop in rugby. So she pushes me over, and I fall
gives
back.
You the old E Honda treatment.
Yeah, pretty much. And I can feel my back bleeding because she's pushed me back onto this metal thing. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I get up again. Boom. Pushed over again. And then she's putting her fist up to my face and, like, kind of lightly tapping it as in, like, a motion of, like, I'm going to hit you. And she's like, say it again. Say it again. And I was like, say what again? And she's like, say what you said. And I was like, I don't know what I said to make you so mad. She's like, well, I don't remember either. And I was like, well, then how am I supposed to know what made you so mad? Boom. Pushes me over again. So now we're just having, like, an argument. And she's like, yeah, I was like, come on. And I started being patient. I was like, come on, don't ruin your birthday. And she's like,
such a good. Oh, come on now, don't ruin your birthday.
I should have said sweetheart and just made all the feminists.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't ruin your birthday, sweetheart. And she was like, I don't give a fuck about my birthday. And I was like, yeah, you do.
Because no one else does either.
I said, yeah, you do. You're wearing a pin that says I'm 19 today. And boom, hits me again. And then so, yeah, that's that.
What you 2 comics there.
This is the thing, is she's a lady, and the comics, as soon as she pushed me over the first time, start slowly retreating about 50 meters away. So now I'm by myself, and I'm looking at them, and like, I'm like most girls that I grew up with, like if they saw a girl pushing a guy, they would come out from behind and sucker punch them in the cranium. You know what I mean? Like they would hit him, because I can't hit this. I would kill this or I would destroy her face. Her face would explode if I hit her in the face. She's a lady or whatever. And
there'd be a lot of blood.
And so the what I was thinking is, like, at the time I was like, oh, Stefan, obviously he can't step in, right? He's a dude, and then Sasha should step in, and I gave shit to Sasha, but now I can give shit to Stefan. He's lady.
You were a lady that whole time.
Alex, have you ever been in a fight at West Ed there?
Have I been in a fight at West Ed? No, I haven't.
Because after the comic strip one Tuesday, a whole bunch of comics went over to Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
And they're all sitting around having nachos and everything. And then there were 2 Asian guys yelling at each other right behind us.
Yeah.
And I turned around in time to see one bottle the other one.
Yeah, that's weird that he chose to bottle him when they both know kung fu.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that weird? But I guess it's
And this is
Alberta,
why
so
Alex Thornton kills in small towns.
Yeah. It's Alberta, so when in Rome, bottle people. So, but he bottled him. So I got up and I pushed the guy over and was standing over the guy that like swung the bottle. And I'm like, get the fuck. And he got up and he like kicked at me and went to the door. And I like ran and pushed him over at the door. I'm like, get the fuck out. And I turn around and like everyone's sitting at the table staring. They're like,
that's one thing.
And I was like, really? I thought maybe somebody would have had my back. There was 10 of us.
Everybody jumped in at the Rose Bowl fight, though.
That was the best.
That was crazy.
Yeah, but then you're dealing with different comics there. You're dealing with guys who grew up in different
Yeah.
places. Like that was I was actually really upset with Sasha, and Stefan that they didn't do anything. Like because at a certain point I started to realize that I couldn't get away from this girl. I kept trying to non-violently, and there was no way for me.
So how'd you end up getting away?
Her friends all came out because she got kicked out. Then her friends had to clear their tabs and then come out and get her. So in that 10-minute span, she was already fighting me.
Yeah.
So they came out and then it grabbed her because she was swinging at me and stuff, and I was like trying to hold her hands and whatnot. Sorry, I was trying to hold her hands and whatnot. And then her friends like just stepped in front of us, and I walked off. And then I went and got security. I was like, "Can someone go get the cops? Like that just assaulted me." And the security guys were like, she's out of here.
They're like, yeah, we're mall security. We're not gonna do anything.
Oh, you got hit by a woman, and like there was this weird part of me that I was like, none of me wanted to hit her at all. Like I did not once did I feel that I should be hitting her or I should do that to get out of the situation. My next step was going to be like trip her and run away.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I felt so bad for like weeks after that because I felt like everyone I told that to was like, "Wow, you're a huge pussy." I'm like, I didn't punch a woman in the face. And you can't because if a judge saw this, if a judge saw you punch her in the face, he would have been like, "Okay, well, you get jail time. That's assault because you could have tripped her and ran away. You could have got away."
Yeah.
There's like no hitting a woman.
Well, what if roles were reversed? Because she's easily 180, right? Mm-hmm. And then say if I was the one being assaulted, I'm like 120 to 130 depending on the day.
If you didn't run, you'd get charged with assault.
If I didn't run?
Yeah, for sure.
What if I couldn't run? Well, if she just beat the shit out of me, she could destroy
Well, if she like
me.
beat the shit out of you, I think it'd be a different story. But like, Hannigan obviously didn't get like you weren't bleeding or fucking knocked out or anything.
Her head would have bounced off that pavement. So hard.
I had I remember way back in the day when I was in college, I had like this 16-year-old girl. She threw a brick at me and it hit me.
Oh.
And I can't remember. She yelled something. I can't remember what she yelled, but I turned around and I just said like, "Hey, fuck off!" And she threw a brick at me. So I ran up to her, and she was like, "You can't hit me. I'm a girl." And she had her hands up, so I just grabbed her purse and ran away. I was like,
Justice!
I was like, I don't know what to do because I can't hit you, so I'm gonna take your purse.
That is
so I robbed her.
The
That's
greatest
so funny.
street justice.
I spit in a girl's face once. I don't think like that is technically assault.
When
but
you're
as
so mad,
as
like,
a defense, like I have this thing where I've been in bars where like when I first started doing comedy, I had a job where I was wearing a suit and I didn't get on a draw. I was really mad and I went drinking after, and some guy was elbowing me, like trying to start a fight. And then so I turned around and I was like, "Dude, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to have to go outside. Can you just stop elbowing me?" And he was like, "You want to go outside?" And then just like this, I was like, "No, I don't want to do."
Like,
I just
already said that.
And then so we start going back and forth, and he's like, "I'm an MMA fighter. I'm an MMA fighter." And I was like, "Okay, man. Well, I don't want let's just whatever." And then so he's like really instigating stuff, like pushing me and whatever. So I just tried to relate with him. I was like, "You do MMA, man? I used to do boxing at the Southside. Where do you do MMA?" And he was like, so intent on fighting me that he was like, he said his gym. He's like, "I've never heard of your gym." And he's like, you see these is your badge of honor. He's holding his ears out and showing how cauliflower they were. And then I just have this thing where like, if I'm gonna get the shit kicked out of me anyways, I'm gonna be running my mouth until that happens.
Is this how you taught yourself crowd work?
Well, the thing is like if this guy's gonna hit me,
He's building them up and then knocking them down.
I I never want to be in a position where I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, boom, and then get knocked out. It's like I'd rather be like, you mother, and then So he was like, yeah, my ears are a little cauliflower. This is a badge of honor. I was like, oh man, that sucks. Did your boyfriend do that to you? And then I realized that he didn't have anything to say back.
Yeah.
He was just froze up, got angry, and I was like, wow, you look cute when you're angry. And then he got mad at that, and he started pushing me and stuff, and like flicking me and whatever. And he was like flexing at me. I was like, man, are you this mad because you have to buy all your clothes at Baby Gap? Because he was a short dude. And then he slapped me in the face, and then I was like, all right, well, that's it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go get my teeth knocked out now. Because there's a certain point when it's like, you know what I mean? The guy just slapped you
at least
in the
have
face.
to cause some damage.
Yeah, like, okay, he's pushing me and stuff. I can kind of like deal with that, but you slap me in the face, I'm going to lose my mind. And so we go outside, and he was going to beat me up. And I go outside, and he doesn't show up. My older sister comes out of the bar. She's like, what the hell are you doing? And my older sister's very attractive for people listening. And she's like, what the hell are you doing?
I can vouch for that.
I know that guy. He's a friend. I was like, that's a friend of yours? She's like, well, I know him. And I was like, well, what happened? She was like, well, he was about to go fight you, and I saw what was happening, so I went over and told him, you can't fight that guy. He's like, you can't tell me who to fight. She was like, that's my little brother. And immediately this dude wanted to bang her, so he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that it was your little brother. I didn't know that. And da-da-da-da-da. And then he was like, he's got a mouth on him and stuff. And so my sister saved me from getting my ass kicked.
Wow.
I have had my ass kicked so many times. so many times.
Sisters.
There's what's that big bar? It's at West
a lot
Edge.
of them?
It used to be called Rum Jungle. Now I don't know what it's called.
Come jungle.
Yeah, Cum Jungle. Yeah, but
that's it. Rebranding.
yeah, that's the second time I ever got stabbed is outside that bar. And I was
You got
smoking
stabbed?
a few times.
Twice?
I was smoking a cigar out there, and there was these two guys, and the one guy was like, "Are you stretching your mouth out for a dick?" And this is before I'm a
You're
comedian.
like, yeah, yours, big
I
brother.
was like, hey, I don't care.
to
I don't
Cum
care if you guys are
Jungle.
recruiting or
Welcome to
anything. But so, and then he was like, what'd you say? I'm like, I don't want to like hate criming you and your boyfriend or anything. But like, if you guys are recruiting, no, I wasn't trying to get like size of a dick or anything. Because like, I figure maybe like I'd want like a normal dick. Not like if you guys are like comparable to this cigar and everything. I'm not saying you got small dicks, but if you think that this is, and just kind of like being very offhanded and everything, and they were so furious. And because I was just berating them over and over again, they just were furious and shaking. Mm-hmm. And the big fat guy throws, and he just can't hit anything. I just keep stepping backwards, and I'm like, haha, I'm just going to run around the parking lot calling you fat. And then his buddy got in behind me, and I thought he punched me, but he stabbed me in the back.
Oh, my God.
And I turned around and punched him, and then I looked down and saw like a bloody knife, and I'm like, I'm across the street from a hospital. I was like, oh, fuck. But
Jesus.
Yeah. So that mall I've lost a lot of fights at.
Yeah, that's a bad mall to be at if you don't want to get beat up.
If you don't want to get beat up. If you want to get beat up, go to that mall.
Hang out in the parking lot. It's going to happen. Someone's going to come at you with some Hudson's Bay
I was
bags.
at Hudson's, and I was just sitting there, and then like the next thing I remember was like waking up. Somebody just took a beer glass and smashed it on the back of my head.
Nice.
I was sitting there waiting to meet someone. I wasn't doing anything.
Is it a very angry guy who wanted to smash a beer on someone's head?
Yeah, I was just like sitting there playing on my phone, and then I remember like,
He's like, I
getting up.
hate Angry Birds.
Yeah, but I was like, I just got knocked out from doing nothing. I was like,
How does this happen? I've never been in a fight that wasn't like a warranted, like, oh, we're gonna fist fight. Like, I've never.
Because you look like if I messed with you, that out of nowhere, like 4 other dudes who look exactly like you would just appear and beat the shit out of me.
yeah, you look like you belong to a frat.
Yeah, you look like a 5-on-1 type of guy.
Yeah.
Well, that explains it.
In fights and lovemaking.
Yeah,
always-
going for holes.
What did Key and Beatty, there was some guy yelling at O'Byrne's the other night, and he was just being like super obnoxious, and I was just staring at him like hating him. And Kean said something like at him and started saying something, and I was like, Kean, don't do that. And he was like, why? I was like, because if this turns into a fight, the last thing I'm going to remember is looking around being like, where'd Kean go? Like, don't start anything, please.
Yeah. I think that it's weird because the people that like have fought like boxing, MMA, or whatever usually aren't the people like if you've been doing it a while, you don't go out looking for fights because you know how much they can fucking suck.
Yeah, and but the short guy that wanted to fight me, I'm sure would have beat the hell out of me. Like I could fight okay. I'd be passable. I'm not like highly skilled and could take anybody out, especially a guy who could leg kick me in the chest. And he's short. I don't like. I'd rather not
Probably
fight a short
flying
guy.
knees coming up at you.
I'd rather fight a taller guy than a short guy because
There's ups and downs to both.
Yeah, like I don't know. Short guys are just usually faster.
Yeah,
I'm
some of them
slow
are
white dude.
up and some of them down.
Okay, I was like, I think I got what you're going
Yeah,
there.
that one went over Will's head.
Yeah, it's not hard to do that.
No,
But
it's,
yeah.
I like when I boxed, I was 135 at my height.
Oh, God.
So I was
What
like
the fuck?
I was like the
You're just
tallest
pure
guy in
lank?
the world.
Just full of banana arms, like
Oh,
you
yeah.
got your hand on their head and then you're swinging with the other one.
It
Like
was crazy. It was like
that's
I
hilarious.
felt
That's
like
what
I
my
was
dad
cheating.
fought at, and he's 5'6".
But that's the thing is fighting. I'd rather fight a lanky dude, like a guy with really
An
long
outside
arms,
man, yeah.
than a short dude. Like it's scary fighting short dudes because they're fast, and once they're on the inside, you're like, oh no, I'm gonna get knocked out.
Fuck
and then
that
you wake up.
noise. I hate. Oh no.
I'd rather fight a big guy.
No,
So
man.
your worst fight would be like a short guy in a snowsuit.
It would be
A
it would be
16-year-old in a snowsuit at an arena or something.
yeah, actually it'd be my dad. That would be my worst fight. Dad after half a bottle of Jameson. What are you swearing for? I don't know, Dad. He has PTSD flashbacks. Like I was in the arena with your aunt. And it's like, no, we're here. We're in Kelowna, Dad. No, oh no.
God. Alex doesn't fight anymore. Last time he was in a fight, he saw his dad's dick.
Yeah, it's true.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, it's been 6 years since I've been in a fist fight. I saw Ben Peru get punched by a woman.
Red Deer, right? Red Deer, right?
Yeah, in Red Deer.
Yeah.
In the face.
Yeah, right in the face.
How
I
did
thought
he
we were
take
gonna
that?
do. It was actually that was the best case scenario because we were gonna get fucking shit kicked. We were
He
about
worked at the bar.
yeah.
What was he doing? certain
Comedy at the
stuff
bar.
with
Okay,
her?
so we were doing a comedy show, and her table was being super loud. So Ben was just like making fun of the table, and they got like super pissed, and they left. And Ben was hosting, and I was middling, I think. And then Sveen was headlining. So Ben's like, "I'm gonna go out for a smoke." I was like, "All right, I'll come with you." So we like go outside, and there's 5 dudes waiting out there, and we're like, "Fuck." And like, I also don't know why Ben decided to go out for a smoke. I'm like, why don't we just not go smoke? How about that?
You don't know the nicotine crave.
Yeah.
No idea.
So go to smoke. And there's 5 dudes, and there was like a couple of them that I was like, okay, whatever. Like I wouldn't mind fighting. Like I wouldn't mind fighting.
I wouldn't mind fighting.
I wouldn't
It's
mind
like getting a
fighting.
nice shirt at Winners. I wouldn't mind wearing this around once or twice a
If
week.
it's on sale, I'll fight one of them.
$29.99 for Louis Vuitton. I'll take that deal.
Like there was all of them. I was like, I wouldn't mind fighting any of these guys. There was one guy that was like pretty big that I'm like, he scares me a little bit. And then I was like, but all 5 of them, and Ben couldn't take any of them because he's got one leg and weighs 108
See,
pounds.
At that point, like, I know this is ridiculous to say, but I think it would work if because his legs could fall off in a fight, because he talks about being in a fight and his leg fell off.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you just take off your leg and stop fucking swinging it crazy?
you're
Like,
on
how do
one
you
leg.
counter that?
Then
Yeah,
you're
you
bouncing.
don't
Yeah,
have
but
much
he's
balance.
gonna be bouncing
It'd be
anyway.
really
Yeah,
easy
you
to
shove
trip
him,
him.
you- yeah.
As soon as he jumps
Kick
up,
him
just-
right in the fucking knee.
Swinging
If
a
like a little girl threw a brick at him, he'd be out.
So
Yeah.
we're standing there, and this dude's like in Ben's face, like yelling at him, and Ben's backed up against like a brick wall, and dude's like got his finger like in his face, and I'm like, oh god, here it comes. I was like trying to plan it out. I'm like looking at where they're all standing, trying to fucking
Plan out how
why.
you're gonna lose this fight.
Yeah, I was trying to plan out how I'm gonna
Yeah.
lose. Like I was doing that like Sherlock Holmes. Remember when Robert Downey Jr. was
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes?
You're doing fight
like,
math.
So
All
I'm
right,
gonna
yeah.
sucker punch them. Then they're
Well-
all gonna doggy pile on me. End of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, how many, like, what do I have to do here? I was like, okay, that dude's going to punch Ben. I was like, so I'm going to have to hit him and then leave him to Ben. I was like, take the guy closest to me. I was like, and then I'm fucked. And then
I'm just thinking of you doing the Sherlock Holmes things, like dislocate the jaw, render him unable to walk, and then do all these things, and then it like flashes to present time, and it's just like this guy just feeding you, He's just hockey punches, and you're just like, oh no, I can't disengage his jaw.
that's pretty much what would happen.
So yeah, you're doing the fight math.
And then all of a sudden the girl just runs from behind and like jumps over the dude and just punches Ben in the face and bounces his head off like the brick wall. And then everyone's like, whoa, what the fuck? And like grabs her and they're like, we gotta get the fuck out of here because she worked there. And then she got fired the next day.
Oh, that's
yeah, you don't punch
something
a customer.
completely unrelated. She was stealing from the till.
Yeah.
Red Deer Bowling Alley
We had to
supports
rewatch
violating
the
patrons.
It's like we had to rewatch the videos of that fight, and then here we saw you taking money from the till, so you're fired.
We're all watching your fight. It was great. We were on our way to submit it to World Star, and then during the editing process, we noticed that you slipped 20 in your fuck. Get the fuck out of here. We don't.
Just imagine she leaves him as a reference. How is she? Good customer service. Very one-on-one.
I when I was in Cranbrook with Steve, we went out to we met these like 3 younger guys. And went out drinking. I almost said went back to the
This
hotel.
story might get a little weird.
Boy.
So we went out drinking with it. They were great dudes. We were like drinking behind the liquor store with them, like just having a great time. Like
I love that, like, our vision of a good time is like, I mean, these dudes are getting fucked up behind a liquor store. Be like, that sounds very dysfunctional. Like, that's great.
You're like, yeah, we were looking at a dumpster fire drinking.
that's like that's a dream night. That's so much better than the bar because we got to the bar and then they got drunk
Shotgun
enough to
Willie's and
start.
Cranbrooks.
Yeah. And they started telling everybody. They're like, these are the comics from tonight. These are the comedians, and like guys coming up to us like these big country boys with big cowboy boots and staring at us like, think you're funny? Like
On stage, I think
yeah,
so.
on
But
the comedian, he's like, you think you're funny? Tell me a fucking joke then. And it's like, oh, what a warm audience. Like, what a nice person to
Like,
tell
I
it
can
to.
really tell you're in the mood for it.
Yeah, I just kept saying no and walking away, and yeah, we avoided it. We avoided a fight, but we saw a couple skirmishes.
yeah.
I actually met 3 girls that were pretty.
At Shotgun Willie's?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steve.
I met 5 girls at Shotgun Willie's once.
Steve.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah, it turned out to be 2 of them, and then one of them.
Was that the,
Wait,
what do you call them? The crying one and then the other one?
No, the fat one and ugly teeth.
The fat one and ugly teeth. Thank you. Sorry. I can't remember which one was crying.
Terrible.
Well, I don't know their names, and that's accurate descriptions of them.
I can't believe that I was yelling about how much I hate women like on the podcast before this.
I don't hate women. I like them. They're very nice women, but one of them had fucked up teeth, and one of them was really fat.
Wow.
And I don't know their names,
I
and
like
like
big-
those are the only details I remember.
Love big girls. I love a big girl. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
you're like a
about.
nice 180-pound girl pushing you against a bike.
That's a
racks,
little
punching
different.
in the face.
Not
That's a
like
little
shoulder muscle
Dog, she
strength.
wasn't big. She was like, this is the moment me and David Husserow became friends, because
David Husserow watched you fuck a chick,
well, yeah, but
and then he filmed it and put it on Pornhub as like cousin fucking or something.
no,
Did he actually?
we were
No,
we were
I wouldn't
driving.
put it past who's
We were driving
to
back.
upload the video.
that'd be awesome.
We're driving back, and Dave just goes, "How big do you think that girl was?" Expecting me, I was like 21, expecting me to like lowball, like just try and like, you know, make my ego feel okay. Like, oh, she's pretty big. She's probably like $180 or something. I was like, dude, 240 at least. And he was like, yeah, we're gonna be friends for a while.
Oh yeah, big girls. That's a little too big.
Dude, see that?
That becomes a safety issue.
Anywhere between like like 180. It depends what kind, like what height it is. It depends. There's a lot of depending factors
Yeah.
on it. Like the chick who beat me up, she was like yeah, just not good. Like big. If you're gonna be big. Got a big ass, big breasts, and like just like a big. I like big. But that chick was just like.
You like
she-
the movie Big?
She was
We
like
got it.
saggy.
Yeah, she looked like. You ever see Foxcatcher?
Yeah, yeah.
Channing Tatum and
She looks like
Foxcatcher.
Channing
That's what she looked like.
At wrestling camp.
I have to leave. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah, we'll wrap her up. Yeah, so we've all lost fights. Ryan, you ever had your ass handed to you?
No, but
Well, that's how we're ending the podcast.
Ah.